So, just because you got such a quiet voice.
Sorry, man. Yeah, man.
So the question was, what were my thoughts on people thinking that I'm a celebrity?
Yeah, you're like kind of like. Yeah, a lot of people respect you within the Christian community because you speak out quite a lot.
I would. My thoughts on that are this.
Defend the faith very well, man.
This is my thoughts on this.
Yeah.
If you bear with me. So the question is, what are my thoughts about being a social celebrity?
Yeah.
And I think the best way to answer that is from Scripture. In Exodus 20, verse 4, it reads, "You shall not make for yourself an idol, or any likeness of what is in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the water underneath the earth. You shall not worship them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children, on the third and the fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing loving kindness to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments." So in answer to what I think, I would say to anyone who thinks me some kind of celebrity is, don't put me on a pedestal. I'm not dead yet. I could still screw up majorly. I'm a sinner just like everyone else, and I am not beyond making massive mistakes. If you look up to me, rather than looking up to those that are better than me, what you will do is, if I fail, your hope in me will be disappointed. So I would caution you not to put me on any kind of pedestal, and instead look to Christ directly and to the saints and the martyrs of old, who, because they are dead, cannot make a mistake, and so their example can remain unimpugned. If you want to make a celebrity out of me, wait until I'm dead and buried. And if my example is worthy, then and only then. But before that, whilst ever I'm living, see me as a sinner and focus your example on Christ and on the martyrs and the saints.
That's perfect, man.
Any other questions?
No, that's all, man.
So what's the purpose of this documentary?
I'm just doing a student documentary on Speaker's Corner.
And why are you doing that out of interest?
Just like, I watch a lot of videos online, I've seen you online as well. And, you know, it's very interesting. I mean, like, from like the 1800s, I'm seeing Speaker's Corner like change. Like, 95% of Speaker's Corner, when I was there last week, is actually about religion.
Yeah.
And 5% about Scientology and politics. But politics and kind of religion intertwined with each other. I'm trying to get a feel of what Speaker's Corner is about, and try and see like all these different like social celebrities. Of course, like a lot of people look up to you, and you're one of them from the Christian community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think for myself, Speaker's Corner has a fantastic tradition that is increasingly being shut down by liberal progressives. Liberal progressives, because they don't believe in freedom of speech and because they don't believe in the idea of the free exchange and critique of ideas, and they want to make a golden calf out of certain ideas, whip themselves up into hysterics if you critique certain identities. And they are increasingly trying to push that to include the idea that underpins that identity, not just the identity itself. So it would be wrong in this current society if you were to single out someone based upon their ethnicity. And that's right to do that. You know, it's right that should be wrong, it's right that it should be scandalous, and it's right that it should be something that is challengeable. However, the liberal progressives want to shut down any kind of conversation, even ideas that might mean discussing uncomfortably questions around ethnicities. Now, I'm not an ethno-nationalist, I'm a Christian. I'm just using that as an example. But when you start to shut down the idea that you can't even question a multi-racial state or a multi-ethnic state, and you're saying that such talk should be illegal, what you're doing is you're setting yourself upon a slippery slope. And just for the record, because I know there's probably some hysterical liberal progressive who will now accuse me of being some racist, to be clear, the church is a multi-ethnic society. It's a multi-ethnic community. I have no problems with multiplicity of ethnicity or sharing my space with others of different ethnicities. But it should be allowed for people to question that and critique it, and to say, actually, you Christians are wrong for mixing races.
I did see you on one of the videos going around with the Antifa and ethno-nationalists.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that the Antifa, the ones who say they're anti-fascista, they're the ones who are more violent and aggressive.
Yeah.
they're the ones who are going around just like trashing all these political events.
Yeah.
Going into lectures, fighting people on the streets, wearing balaclavas.
The antifascista are just a group of bourgeois middle-class children who are desperately seeking an existential meaning to their lives and have attached themselves to a cause of hatred, the hatred of fascism. But the thing is, they are duly manipulated to see anyone as a fascist who questions a much wider, broader spectrum of left-wing ideas. You know? And we see this kind of toxicity entering into political discourse in this country that is increasingly shutting down debate and discussion in a way that is harmful to democracy. Because democracy can only thrive if people are free to speak and if they are free to say things with which we disagree and to form parties based upon ideas with which we wish to oppose. We know from our own history in Europe that if you don't allow a means, a mechanism by which people can advocate ideas that are contrary to the norm, then it results in revolutions and civil strife. And I find it not accidental nor peculiar that there is increasing civil tension in our society as our society increasingly clamps down on the ability to speak freely. I don't think that those two things are not linked. Anyway.